Would you consider this an overnight part from Japan? Cause I kinda am.
The truth.
Today I'm going to be working on a 2002 MR2 Spyder. Alright, so this just came in the mail the other day, and it should be an under tray for the bottom side of the Spyder to protect the oil pan and the engine and everything like that from any kind of bumps. I'm kind of worried that the exhaust might get in the way, so we're going to see if this thing even fits and go from there. Looks like it's got some hardware and some instructions, of course all in Japanese, so that'll be fun. Let's open up the rest of the package. Alright, so here's half of it, and here's the other half. Let's figure out how to get this together and on the car. Now I did find this very crude drawing in the back of the installation instructions, which again, all in Japanese, but it looks like it's got the muffler tip coming out. Looks like it goes up to where it meets up with the engine itself. It's kind of hard to tell, maybe the oil pan right here, and then it's got that part right here with these little, looks like canards kind of thing, and then how you got the big part, that one going right underneath the oil pan, and then that rear part fits right up under here. So let's get up under there, see if we can figure any of this out, and hopefully it actually works with mine, because again, my exhaust shaped a little bit differently than the stock one, so hopefully we can get this to work. So it's pretty obvious, but first thing I want to do is get the rear end of this car up in the air. So first thing you're going to want to do is take out these two 10mm bolts right here and right here. Once you get those two out, we're going to be installing our bracket right there. It's going to go behind this line, but in front of this pinch weld right up here. So it's just going to kind of tuck back. If we can do it one-handed. So I found the easiest way. Slide it up in there, but see the line and then the pinch weld behind it. But first things first, let's get those two 10mm out. Alright, so I've divided all the nuts, bolts, washers, lock washers, everything like that up into different sizes and stuff. And then I've been going through the Japanese writing here, trying to figure out what goes where. And then also trying to match up the numbers here as well. I'm gonna actually start putting stuff that matches together, and like you can see the reference here, if it'll focus. So as you can see, like number 8, 11, 12 all match up together. So if you go over here, where is it? 8, 11, and 12. I'm gonna match all those together. So just so it kind of keeps it straight in my head as I'm trying to figure out what goes where in this whole bin of bolts and stuff. Alright, so really quick, I got the steps. So really quick, I got the bolts set up for the first step right here. For the second step, I've got them set up right here. And finally, for the third step, I've got them all set up right over here. The only thing I was kind of confused about with these guys and these guys, they're a little bit different length, but they're both Allen head bolts. So they are number 9 and 10 on here. What you can see is one is an M6x15, the other one's M6x20. So just kind of keep that in mind, because those ones are 9s and those ones are 10s. So you just want to make sure you're putting the right ones in the right place. So the shorter ones should be the 9s, and then the longer ones should be the 10s. Now of the 4 without nuts, we're gonna put 2 of them on that back brace that goes way up in there. So let's go ahead and put that in. Alright, once we got that bracket on there good and tight, we're going to go ahead and be installing these little guys. From what I can tell, it looks like they face inwards, like towards the engine on each side. So you're going to put one over here, and the other one's going to go right here. I did notice that there's one hole bigger than the other, so just make sure that the larger bolt, these guys, go through the big hole on the bracket. And it will be the hole without the welded nut on top. So this one, closer to the rear of the car, has a welded nut, so you're gonna use the bolt without a nut, and then this hole is gonna be the bolt with the nut. So just make sure you don't screw those up. So there's 2 new bolts back there. We're both 10mm. And then the smaller ones up here were 10mm, and these guys are 12 along with the nuts on the back side. But now that we got both brackets in, there's the other one, and the far back bracket, let's go ahead and get the next piece set up. Now before I move forward on this piece, I am gonna peel off this blue film that's on here just for protecting it, because this side with the blue is actually going to be facing down towards the ground. So let's go ahead and get that all the way off. Alright, now according to our drawing, these little canard looking things for the diffuser part are going to slide in. So it's going to have the bevel in here, and then they're going to slide downwards this way and lock into place with the bolts. And this one is going to go this way. So just gonna pay attention to your drawing, or the drawing on this video at least, and it looks like we're gonna run the bolts up from the bottom side up, and then put the nuts on the top side up here. Alright, so the hardware for these ones, it's a 3mm Allen and then an 8mm nut on the back that we're gonna be tightening. I'm gonna start by putting all these guys in hand tight, and then I'll come back with the ratchet and snug everything up when I'm done. Now this one does come with the part number, so I wanted to get that before I went ahead and peeled this blue off of the main engine cover. Now it looks like this one gets installed first and then the under tray gets installed. So, ran into a bit of a problem with my aftermarket exhaust. It does hang too low right there at the joint where the headers come down and the muffler meets up with it. It's too big. So I can go a couple different routes with this. I can either hold off on the diffuser part and just put on the engine cover part, or I can modify the diffuser part to fit around the exhaust. Since I've got a trip coming up, I think I'm going to leave the diffuser part off for now and just run the engine cover. But when I get back from the trip, I think I'm going to modify the diffuser. So what I've noticed on the diffuser, the exhaust part right here hits about right here on the diffuser. So I think after my back of the Dragon trip, I'll probably take a saw and cut out just so it can slip over this part and fit up in there like it should. Should sit like right here, so just the bottom part of this will be sticking out, but it will be having to modify this guy. Look forward to a future video on that, modifying the diffuser. But yeah, let's get the engine cover on here and protect our oil pan for my trip. Now I do have them all hand tight right now, but it's a 4mm Allen key to tighten them all up with. I am happy with this so far. This bracket's lowered it enough to clear the Moroso oil pan, and it's gonna do a good job protecting the oil pan and the transmission when I go on my trip. So I am definitely happy with it. It is my fault that I can't put on the diffuser part, just because my aftermarket exhaust, but we'll be resolving that here shortly. Alright, now you're safe to lower the car back down to the ground. So, I believe as long as you have a stock exhaust or relatively stock, yours isn't going to sit as low as mine is, and that diffuser part should fit in there with no problem. Obviously I have an aftermarket exhaust, so it is a bit of a problem. So just keep that in mind if you want to do one of these yourself. If you have an aftermarket exhaust, it may not fit like mine, or you may have to modify it like I'm probably going to have to do. Alright, there it is, stored back in the box. We're going to tuck it away in the garage for now. Alright, now that I've got all of them tightened up, it's looking pretty good. I've got a lot of clearance on the bottom side of the pan too. But if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below, and I'll try and answer them as soon as I can. And again, look for a future video where I put the diffuser after modifying it for this bracket right here on as well. If you enjoyed any of the background music that's in any of these videos, check out the artist's SoundCloud. I put a link in the description.